everybody. I'm Olivia F. Scott, and welcome to Behind the Ad, where we meet with industry leaders who are using marketing and advertising innovatively to equip you to do so as well. Today on Behind the Ad, we have a special edition for our beloved Jazz Festival fans, whose this idea for the Jazz Festival edition was created by our all-star Loyola University New Orleans journalism student, Alana Frank, who is here with me today to co-host this episode. Alana, how are you?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for creating the episode.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, so you brought this to fore. We're going to speak today, everybody. We're going to speak with 2 performing artists, 1 visual artist, 1 manager, and 1 premier food vendor. If you're ready to get started, let's go. We're starting today off with one of New Orleans' legendary, and I do mean legendary, restaurateurs that we are beyond proud and humbled to have with us today. Arkesha Baquet of the Baquet family with Tremai's very own Little Dizzy's is here with us. Arkesha, how you doing?
Doing great. And thank you for having me.
Oh, we're so happy. Thank you for having us. So let's get right into it, right?
Yes,
Little Dizzy's is a cornerstone of New Orleans' very own historic Tremai's neighborhood.
Yes.
Right? How long have you guys been there?
The restaurant has been in Tremai since 2004.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. What does Jazz Fest mean to the organization, to the company? What does it mean to you all to be there?
Well, Jazz Fest for the Baquet family is huge because it is one of the longest running festivals in the city.
Okay.
That's one. And to be a part of that is a great experience in itself. But for us as the Baquet family, still being in it and having people come back year after year after year looking for your booth specifically, it means a lot. It adds more value to the business.
So how would you describe the energy of Jazz Fest for what you all are doing? How do you describe it?
Well, the energy at Jazz Fest is always 10. No matter what the weather is, no matter what's going on, it's always 10. Because you have locals that are Jazz Fest fanatics, and then you have people that travel. Jazz Fest is a part of their vacationing, a part of their travel schedule per year. They work things around it. I know this for a fact because we see the same people who come every year because that's a part of it for them in their lives, is to make sure they make it to Jazz Fest.
And come to your booth.
And come to our booth, yeah. It's always like, Disney is always on, a part of the connection for them with Jazz Fest.
Okay, which is so beautiful. So let's talk about this. You have an incredibly busy restaurant.
Yes.
I've been there several times. I do the little checkout around the corner.
The to-go station.
Right,
yes,
I go around the corner, right, because it's always crazy line. So running a very busy restaurant in Tremai, New Orleans, while preparing for Jazz Fest, it sounds like it's quite a balancing act. Can you tell us, how do you create the time and the space to do it?
So for us, we have a unique system with Jazz Fest because a lot of people that are vendors in Jazz Fest, they close and they have a brick and mortar, they close their business.
Okay.
Because Jazz Fest is so demanding, so big, they're not able to always operate both, but we're blessed enough to do so. And the reason we're able to do that is because we have a Jazz Fest team, which is a different set of people.
What?
Yes, we have a Jazz Fest team that is actually the second generation. Yes, because our family has been in Jazz Fest almost 40 years. So we're now, we are third generation for the restaurant, my husband Wayne Jr. and I. And so his aunt and uncle, their kids are the second generation that works with us to do Jazz Fest.
Gotcha.
So that's the blessing.
So what actually goes into your team's preparation? I mean, I know you talked about having a whole separate team for the actual Jazz Fest. I mean, wow. But from planning the menus to actually transporting everything to the actual fairgrounds, how does that all actually work?
Well, it's several moving parts to prepare from the first initial meeting of the season with the Jazz and Heritage Foundation to physically being there at the fairgrounds. So the menu is pretty much done with my husband and I. We pretty much have a menu that has been planted for the last couple of years. So, if it's not broke, why try to fix it? Mm-hmm. So the menu is always consistently the same. It consists of the gumbo, the crawfish bisque, and the 2 trout items. Okay. But the planning of step by step is going to be a breakdown over the first week where you load in, have deliveries made, till you get there that Thursday morning with the physical team to start prepping the food, because we cook pretty much everything out there on site.
Okay.
Yeah, we cook out there on site at the fairgrounds.
Okay,
Yes.
and like, what can fans like really expect to be tasting or experiencing when they visit your booth in 2026?
Well, when they come to Jazz Fest for our booth, there are one thing for sure that fans like to come and get, and that's going to be crawfish bisque, because
Ooh.
it's seasonal.
Sounds
You
good.
can't just get bisque year round. So that's one that keeps them coming back, because we definitely have this amazing, oh my God, dish where these crawfish heads are stuffed with this dressing, and then it's over white rice. And it's really one of those that you could come back more than once in the same day for. But then we're always going to have our fan favorite gumbo.
Ooh,
You
that is
can't say
Lauren's
Baquet
favorite.
family without gumbo. So that's always a fact. And then we've created 2 lighter dishes, which are going to be trout. One is going to be trout Baquet. It's going to have the the crab meat on top. And then the trout dizzy is going to have crawfish and shrimp on top.
Okay, that sounds delicious. Definitely want to try it for
Yeah,
sure.
those are really good.
So just like Maze and Frankie Beverly, before I let you go, right? Before I let you go, a couple more things for you.
Before I love it.
So your menu, it is a little different from what we would get at the restaurant.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
That's
yes.
so for anybody watching right now who is like, well, I can go by the restaurant.
The restaurant
No.
again. No, so you got to realize Jazz Fest once a year, right? Big thing. 2 weeks in a row. You want to offer something that is going to be unique to Jazz Fest. So there's only one thing that we sell at Jazz Fest that you could come to the restaurant and get anytime, and that's the Baquet filet gumbo.
Okay.
Because that is something, part of the foundation of the family,
Okay.
of the history of the restaurant. We're known for our gumbo. But you're not going to get crawfish bisque at the restaurant year round. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get trout Baquet year round. You're not going to get trout dizzy year round. So that's why those items are key menu items at Jazz Fest.
Do you ever get a chance to go actually hear the band?
Yes, every now and then you're able to step away from the booth and go and see. But one of the people that I just love to see every year, it's always going to be at the end, Trombone Shorty.
Okay.
I'm going to just be honest with you. That is one of the best parts to close out Jazz Fest. Plus, he is one of our customers. He's always been a part of the Baquet family, dining at our restaurants, because we had a restaurant on Paulger's called Lil Dizzy's Cafe at the Whitney window.
I remember.
Yes, and he would come all the time and have lunch there. When he's not touring, he comes and see us at the location in Treme, because he's from Treme,
Okay.
but it's always just a great, lively concert that he puts on where he closes out Jazz Fest.
Yes.
And I feel like he took up the realm from Frankie Beverly and Maze when they would always close out event, and he's just good. He's electric. I love it.
Okay, and where is your booth, right?
Our booth is located between the jazz tent and the blues tent.
Okay.
We're going to be in between those 2 tents. It's on a cemented area, and it's a great spot. We like it a lot. That middle part where the grass is, it gets a little crowded over there. We like the flexibility that we have in that area.
Good to know. This will be my first time going, so I'm actually really excited to come in by and see what you have.
Yeah, you got to come and see us. You're going to enjoy Jazz Fest all on its own. That's going to be just a great experience to be there, to see it, to feel it. I've been to Jazz Fest several years, but every year you just feel something when you're there.
How do moments like Jazz Fest keep you coming back, keep you connected?
Well, the thing with Jazz Fest, it keeps people connected because it's yearly, and it's almost like a family reunion. That's what it does. It's almost like having a family reunion where you're going to have customers that are going to continue to come yearly because it's a connection for them. I have a customer specifically that lives in Lyon, France. He came last year with his mom to Jazz Fest. He came 3 days straight. And on that Monday, after the last day of Jazz Fest, he came to the restaurant with his mother. And then he emailed me 2 weeks ago to let me know that they are coming back this year for Jazz Fest. And so that shows the connection that you can make with people. It becomes almost like family,
Yeah.
and Jazz Fest does that. It makes the connection.
And are people able to take something home with them, like cookbooks or other things that you guys offer?
So what we do, we make sure people are aware of what we have. We have our family cookbook, the Baquet family cookbook, that we sell at the restaurant.
Okay.
And that we don't sell it at Jazz Fest, but we're able to make sure they're aware that it exists. They can email us or I get the information. And then the gumbo, like I said, we're known for our gumbo. And because we have been doing gumbo for so long, my mother-in-law created a recipe for our gumbo mix where we use this to create our gumbo. And that was done because we had multiple restaurants at one time. And you wanted the gumbo to taste the same no matter where you got it.
Correct.
And so my mother-in-law created this recipe to make sure that if a customer came to any one of the Baquet family restaurants, they were going to get the same gumbo no matter what.
Awesome. Well, we thank you so much. We know that when we come, whether it's this weekend, the first weekend, or the second weekend, to go right between the jazz,
Probably both.
and the blues tent, right?
Yes.
The jazz and the blues tent to make sure we
And come and
patronize
see
you.
us,
Stay tuned, everybody. This is a whole Jazz Fest edition. Coming up next, we're going to speak with Erica Falls. She's going to be performing at Jazz Fest, but stay tuned for that. See you soon. Thank you so much, Arkesha, for coming with us today. So we know that when we think about Jazz Fest, of course we think of food, we think of art, we think of the people, we think of festing, but we also really think about those musicians too. And there is one voice that I have been a fan of for a really long time, and she is here today. There are few voices that capture the heart of New Orleans quite like Erica Falls. Soulful, powerful, and timeless. She's a native daughter of this fine city whose music embodies spirit, resilience, and joy. And Miss Erica Falls is here with us today for this Jazz Fest edition. We're going to dive into her creative process behind her distinctive sound and what fans can expect to hear from her performance at Jazz Fest 2026. Erica, thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
I know you're on your way to a rehearsal, actually, so glad you
Yes.
stopped through.
I'm glad I can make the time.
Thank you. So, Erica, beyond your music, you have built a really formidable, distinct personal brand. One, when we hear Erica Falls, we're like, ooh, right? We know it's soulful, it's confident, it's elegant, it's elevated, yet deeply connected to the community as well. How long have you been performing?
All of my life. From the home, my mother was an amazing singer and pianist. So just growing up in the home, singing with her, singing with in church, growing up in church, and then venturing out to different bands and stuff. So, music has sort of always come and gotten me and taken me where I needed to go. So all of my life.
So your song, Big, I recently witnessed, because I have to say witness, I didn't just see it, I experienced you performing that live at the French Quarter Fest. And I was absolutely blown away. You had so many emotions that you put into that song. And you also have an album called Emotions as well, right?
Yeah.
How does this song relate to you, this song Big? Because it seemed as if when you really performed that song, there was something going on spiritually.
Yes.
You mentioned Mama and Daddy, and I just want you to tell everybody else. We'll even kind of throw to a cut of that if we can.
Yeah. Well, Big for me was my song to say, don't put me in a box. Okay. And in this industry, you can sort of be put in the box that you're only good enough to do this or good enough to do that. And so for that song, for me, it was like kicking the door open and saying, listen, here I am. And it takes me back to what my parents instilled in me. Okay. And so where I get emotional sometimes when performing that song, as the lyric says, like a tree planted by the water, I am my mother's daughter. Shine bright like the sun, because my daddy said I am the one. And so sometimes, they're no longer with me, but I still feel them on stage. And so it can hit me at times where I become very emotional. But Big is my song really to say, hey, I was talking my stuff on this one, like, hey, don't put me in the box, because I know what I have and you know what I have too.
Right.
So that's really what that song is about.
Right. So I was like, no, I need to talk about that.
Yeah.
Right. Because I was like, there's something more that's happening with this song.
Yeah.
So how do you keep, well, I'm going to go to another question. I'm going to come in. So speaking of big, you're performing at Jazz Fest. And for many people, that is considered to be very big.
Yeah.
What does performing at Jazz Fest mean to you?
Well, it means everything to me because Jazz Fest is one of my favorite times of the year, right?
Okay.
And even before I started performing at Jazz Fest, I would just love to go and just soak up all the energy that's happening. You have bands here, band there, people walking around. It's hot, but you love it. You don't mind.
Right. All the outfits. It's very,
everything.
Yeah.
It's very festive. So I just love the energy of Jazz Fest. And so performing, to be able to be on the stage and look out and you see all those people and they rocking with you and they having a good time, it means everything to me. It's such a fuel for me to also to keep going, to keep moving forward. Because, this industry can be fickle and sometimes you say, you know what, I think I'm gonna go do something else.
Right. And I'm going to come to that because I want to know more about like your brand as well.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about this performance, right? I just saw you at French Quarter Fest and I was watching you and you were killing it. Your hair was amazing. Your outfit was amazing and you were giving it your all.
Thank you.
And I was like, how could she possibly up-level this performance for Jazz Fest? So can you tell us, how do you ensure that each of your performances are different, or do you? And in particular, what, if you can give us a sneak peek into, what can people expect from this Jazz Fest performance?
Well, as a musician and a singer, you can get bored, right?
Okay.
So I always like to video the show and go back and say, okay, well, I need to tweak this here, or we can do this next time, or we're going to take this song out, we're going to put something else in, or we're going to take a break here. So it's just a matter of sitting down, studying. I learned that from MC Hammer.
Okay.
He would video all of his shows and go back and say, okay, needs to be fixed, this needs to be fixed. So I took note. And so those are the things that I do, and I sit with my musical director, my MD, Nick Mercadal, and I say, hey, listen, I want to do this here, and I don't want any dead space here. Let's keep some melodies playing while I'm conversing with the audience. So it's just different little things that I take, and I always try to level up and make it better, and then that way I don't get bored either.
Okay. Right. Because we don't want you to get bored.
No.
We can't have that. What can fans look forward to for this Jazz Fest performance?
Well, I'm very excited about this Jazz Fest because I have Kyle Roussel, who will be with me on keys, and I have a cat from Brooklyn, Marcus Machado, who's going to be on guitar with me, and he's played with so many people, of course with my MD, Nick Mercadal, and my longtime friend and amazing bassist, Donald Ramsey.
So you change up your bands for different performances?
Sometimes I do, and because I perform with Kyle, and sometimes I say, I think Kyle will be cool on this one, so I'll call him and he'll play Jazz Fest or Funk Fest with me.
Okay.
So we sort of trade a little bit with that.
So then automatically there's kind of a different show.
It's
Because they go somewhere and you gotta go.
right, and it's a different vibe, and it keeps it fresh.
Yes.
And it keeps me, I like to say, it allows me a different way to express, because each musician brings something different.
Right.
And so I love that, so I get to counter and I get to play with that a little bit. So I'm really excited about that. And we're going to do a little small tribute to D'Angelo, Angie Stone, and Roberta Flack.
What?
Yes, because I loved each of them immensely.
Yes.
I mean, their music is sort of, goes along with the timeline of my life in certain areas and arenas, right?
Right.
So I am going to have that on the show as well. So I'm really excited about that.
Will Vintage Soul be with you?
Yes.
Okay, because I saw what you all did at French Quarter Fest, and I was like, the call and response, I was like, okay, they got to go
Yes,
with it.
yes.
Okay. All right. And so do you prepare any differently for festivals versus concerts? Is there any different preparation that happens?
No, it's basically the same.
Okay.
The same energy, same thought process, same concept that you want to make sure you want to level up. You want to make sure that this show is better than the last one in some way, and that we just have fun.
You have navigated the music business, I think, beautifully, while staying really true to your artistry. What marketing strategies have you utilized that have been really effective for you in growing your brand and being out here for so long?
Yeah. Well, I say most for people that they should always remember is to be kind. first.
That's a marketing strategy.
Right. Because, my mother always said you draw more flies with honey than you do vinegar.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And so kindness goes a long way in this industry and in life. And just to be authentic, it's okay to be vulnerable. I had to learn that because I'm an introvert. So I want to keep things, close to my chest. But, sometimes you have to open that up and people can relate. And that's what people connect to, just you being authentic and real. That's the key.
I have one more. You didn't say it, but I'm going to say it for you. Delivering.
Yes.
Because if you want to go there, because we don't have to get into it's social media, it's Instagram, all that, right? That's very tactical. You're speaking from like a brand strategy, which I think is incredible, Erica. I'm glad you responded in that way. Kindness, because people are going to remember you're going to invite you back or they're not.
Right.
Right? I've worked with so many people over the years, and you remember, oh, don't call her team. Her team is crazy.
Yes.
Her manager, you don't want to deal with that. Right? Authenticity. But delivering.
Yes.
Because if you get the invitation for Jazz Fest or French Quarter Fest or Treme Fest or whatever festival, and you don't deliver, you're not going to be asked back, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you agree with that third
I
one?
agree. Delivery is key.
Up next, we're going to talk with Adam Shipley, right? He is an artist manager. Erica talked about the value and the merit of having an artist manager, but we're going to talk to one who's going to talk about how, if you're a musician or know someone who's like, I want to be like Erica, I want to get on Jazz Fest, he's going to help us understand how you can actually get a booking at Jazz Fest and other fests like it. So stay tuned. We often see the magic on stage at Jazz Fest, but behind every great artist, and often beside every great artist, is someone helping shape those opportunities. I am thrilled today to have a guest who is a longtime, esteemed, and very reputable manager of New Orleans' very own Soul Rebels, amongst many other artists. He is the man behind major festival bookings and artist strategy. And he's going to talk with us today very candidly about the art of festival bookings and the art of artist management. Adam, thank you for joining us today.
It's my pleasure.
All right, so let's get right to the heart of it, my friend. So how critical is Jazz Fest to an artist's career, especially for those based here in New Orleans?
It's really critical to me. It's the world stage, for the amount of national, international people that come in.
Yep.
And it's, I think, for any performer, it's one of the most, if not the most important festival of the year, just because, Jazz Fest is the granddaddy of all festivals.
Right.
It's just so reputable and established, and the amount of people that come to it and the quality of people that come to it.
What do you think is so unique about Jazz Fest that other festival creators come to study it, but also that people come from around the world to attend it?
I think as far as people come to study it with other festivals, and now there's a ton of models out there, and you have all these major festivals, which because of that, Jazz Fest has really had to step up their booking of national lamps because they compete against it. Even this year, they announced their lineup at least a month earlier than they normally do.
Okay.
People buying plane tickets, making plans, whatever that is.
Right.
But I think what sets Jazz Fest apart, which I think all your venue owners and restaurants and all love, is it stops at 7 at night. All your other festivals go deep into the night.
Okay.
Coachella, you're out in the middle of nowhere, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
But by Jazz Fest ending at 7, then all of your local businesses benefit from it.
Right.
Jazz Fest starts at 11, ends at 7.
That is such thoughtful design.
Mm-hmm.
And I never thought about it like that, but it makes sense because there's an artist that I really love,
Right.
Robert Glasper.
Okay,
Love.
Glasper's great.
And I remember a couple of years ago, he wasn't performing at Jazz Fest, but he was at the Joy or something like
Yep.
that. And I was like, oh, this is amazing, me being new to the city. I'm like, okay, so Jazz Fest is just a season. It's an occasion to be in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So even if you're not performing at the actual Jazz Fest itself, you can get all other musicians who are just coming in town and jamming out.
Right, and you get that, and it's become huge where you know, when I was at Tipitina's, it would bum me out, but you have a lot of out-of-town promoters that come in and produce a bunch of night shows, which again is great for the artists and all of that, but it's on two fronts. So it makes the nighttime music that much more vibrant. You definitely have people that will come down, artists that'll come down that aren't necessarily on Jazz Fest, but they know the amount of music fans that are going to be in New Orleans for Jazz Fest is huge.
Okay.
You have that. The other thing is we're the only city where there's no curfew and the bars don't close. So way back in the day when I was running Tipitina's, and they still do it, you have Jazz Fest finishes at 7, so they'll do a show doors at 8, show at 9, stop at midnight, clean the place out from midnight to 1, doors at 1, show at 2, go till sunrise. There's no other city that you can do that I'm aware of.
Right. We're unique in that way.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the value of a Jazz Fest booking, which I know you know oh so well, can you tell us from your perspective how it influences and impacts an artist's ability to get future bookings and their exposure?
I'd say a lot of that are the music business people that come to Jazz Fest.
Okay.
So you'll have festival promoters and producers nationwide and worldwide come here and that's another thing. It's in New Orleans, so who doesn't want to come to New Orleans?
Right.
They will come here because it's so enjoyable musically and vibe-wise. And then every year they do an international component. This year it's focused on Jamaica.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Jamaica's the chosen. Yeah, they've done Cuba. They've done all different ones. So you get that whole international feel.
Yes.
And so you have, and that's why your performance at Jazz Fest is so important, because of all those eyes that are on you, whether it's getting new fans from all around, but also people that are going to book you wherever. And that's where you also get the chance to, which hopefully still happens, not, again, no shade on Coachella, ACL, all of that, but they're going to book bands at what are your hits, how are you doing in the charts or downloads or whatever that is, whereas there are still a lot of festival promoters, producers that will book a band because they love that band.
Okay. Is Jazz Fest one of those?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
It's because they make it a point to have so many Louisiana artists. But yeah, that's what they do. So if you have other festival promoters or venues that are actually able to also book music they love, and I'm not saying the big ones, those buyers don't love that music,
right?
But it's also driven by numbers, and even the other festival, of course, they got to get people out,
right?
But you get to see and hear music that you may or may not have heard of, but it's like, okay, I want to book some great stuff on my festival. And it's really, really accessible.
Yes.
You can go to the Jazz and Heritage stage or whatever and talk to the musicians from the stage, or they'll come out right there. There's not huge barriers. Of course, there are larger barriers at really big stages,
right?
But this is definitely a city and a festival where you can be in personal contact.
When you said barriers, my mind went to price, right? But that wasn't what you were talking about. But I just wanted to pause and say, I understand, and I've only been here for 6 years, and so poo-poo on that. I understand that many people who are locals and natives feel the price is just out of control because it's gotten so expensive.
Right.
And I hear that. But I also have listened to another side of it, which is, if you can get a full day, 8 hours of entertainment of all of these bands, all these stages, what we know for sure, right, is that any one of those, this is my point of view.
Right.
I'm not an ad, I'm not a paid influencer by Jazz, but no,
Right.
but I feel like if I were to go pay for Glasper's concert just by itself,
Right.
I'm probably going to spend a good 90.
Something like that, yeah.
Just
depending
for
on what it
one,
is.
and
For
him
one.
and the opener. Maybe Yebba's going to open or whatever, right?
Right.
So for us to pay like 110 for all of this, I really hope that we can somehow get beyond the price barrier. But I know it's hard because people who've been here forever.
Of course.
It's difficult.
It's hard. However, they still do a locals day,
Yes.
where I think it's the first Thursday,
Yes,
where I believe
yes.
it's around 50 instead of 110.
Yep.
And also still, I looked it up for a friend the other day. There is if you have a Louisiana driver's license, it's a discount.
On the regular ticket too.
On the regular ticket too.
Okay,
So
that's good.
it's a discount, and they also make it a big point to get a lot of community tickets out there. You have that. You have the competition. They're bringing in sometimes arena level. I mean, they've got the Eagles and Lainey Wilson and
Right.
all of that, bringing in arena level acts that. If you were to see just that act, it's going to be 150 to 250.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's legitimate. If you go to concerts like I do a lot, you know that's what you're paying.
Welcome to Soul Rebels.
I know that you represent Soul Rebels. How do you go about getting an act booked at Jazz Fest? For anybody who's like an aspiring musician or a music manager, and they're like, I've been trying, they won't respond to me. What's the process?
You've got to get some momentum, some relevance, so they pay attention to. They're very good at what's going on in the clubs, what's making some noise out there. It's got to be musically great,
Okay.
and a little, original music. You've got to have some original music. I don't. They may book an occasional cover band, like the local cover bands.
Yep.
The Bucktown All Stars or something like that.
Yep.
But you've got to have that and be active in the music scene here. You have to be out playing the clubs and building your music and building your brand.
Okay.
And the other thing is, I think with nationwide with festivals, but here as well, is get the attention of other bands and artists that are, whether it's the Soul Rebels or Galactic or Revivalist or any of that if they like you and they start talking about you or have you opening for their shows or whatever that is, that's going to get the booker's attention as well.
What is the key to building lasting relationships with event producers and booking agents?
Personal relationships.
Okay.
That's, I mean, of course, to start with, you have to have a band that has the goods. You
Okay.
know, they've gotta have the talent or be something different. And
Yeah,
with me,
because you're peddling them. So if you're
Right.
peddling like garbage, for lack of a better word, they're not going to even trust you.
well, and that's it. This goes probably way too old for even the reference, but an amazing agent, Dan Weiner with Monterey, who's probably still in it, but his book Aerosmith, Bonnie Raitt, and known him for years. And I remember Adam, you have to check out this band Hootie and the Blowfish. And you've never heard of them. You got to pay $2,000, blah blah. And we did it because Dan Weiner's calling, or any of these agents are calling. I'm going to trust them. If they're going to take their time to bring on a newer band or whatever, well, they're not going to waste their time.
Okay.
So if they're telling me, hey, this is something you need to pay attention to. So same thing with myself, took a while to build, but I'm not going to refer or get behind something that isn't great or different or whatever. So the music, at a base, the music has to be there. And then past that is, and your question is getting them booked on festivals?
Yep.
Okay. So that the talent has to be there. As much as you can, have a personal relationship.
Okay.
The other thing is, and that's whether you're going to go to their festival, or a lot of these people are coming in New Orleans. And if
Right.
you happen to find that, hey, that we meet, whatever, because there's so much less personal contact these days.
Right.
And the other thing
Right,
is,
emailing.
That's my old man rant that I'll get into. But
Yeah.
it is persistence. What kills me is I'll see hey, did you get on that festival? I sent him an email. I hate that.
That response, I sent him an email?
I sent him an email 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, and I didn't hear back. Okay, so you're done. But I think one of the biggest thing that people getting into the business and all can do is get on the phone. Because nowadays it stands out.
Right.
If you can get on the phone, it stands out.
Yep.
You can't really get anyone's personality or sarcasm or whatever via email or text.
Yep.
You're also building that relationship.
You are the real deal.
Why, thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's my pleasure.
Sincerely. When are the Soul Rebels going to be performing at Jazz Fest?
They are performing Saturday, May 2nd, Congo Square stage. It's the Soul Rebels, Big Frida, then T-Pain.
Cannot wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one.
Thank you so much for your time today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this conversation reminds us that great performances don't just happen. They are built through strategy, relationships, persistence, and vision. Thank you for sharing your insights with us today, Adam. We are so grateful that you came. Your work with the Soul Rebels and other artists continues to lift New Orleans music to the world stage, and we're grateful that you're part of Jazz Fest 2026. And for you, our Behind the Ad viewers, stay tuned as we have another artist coming up right now with Alana Frank, Miss Mia Borders, who's going to share more about her Jazz Fest experience.
I am here with Mia Borders, y'all, a New Orleans artist whose sound mixes soul, rock, and funk and really feels like the city. She's performing at Jazz Fest, and it's more than just getting on the stage. It's about building her brand, reaching new people, and making the most out of this moment that's big. Mia, I am so happy to be here with you. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. Thank you for having me.
I'm happy to have you. Now, I want to get into how you're marketing yourself and what it's like trying to stand out during something as big as Jazz Fest.
Yeah, I mean, it's an honor to be included. I've been performing at Jazz Fest since 2010. I've been going since I was born, pretty much. There are pictures of me as a baby in my mom's lap sitting in front of the Neville Brothers on stage. So it's a very storied tradition being a Jazz Fest musician, and I take it very seriously. It's just an honor to be a local up on stage as well, especially up on the Gentilly stage. And I really just try and take advantage of it in every way possible, let people know we're going to be out there, try and hang out and meet people who are seeing us for the first time, engage with people who have seen us before. I know a lot of people put us on their calendar, and so I want to make sure that they feel seen and appreciated while we're up there.
Well, in the lead up to Jazz Fest, how do you strategically promote yourself across platforms? Like, what channels have you been using recently? Like, how is that all working for you?
The most important thing I try to remember is to go where your party is. My people are not on TikTok. I dipped my toe in the TikTok waters. It's not where they are. I'm fine with that. Even when I was a student here at Loyola, my audience was not college students, so it's fine. I'm not gonna force that square peg into a circular hole. That's fine. So my fans are on Facebook. They're on my mailing list. They're on Instagram, and so again, it's just interacting with them, making them feel seen and appreciated, and making meaningful connections, and not just arbitrary engagement. You know, especially with the mailing list, they've given me something, personal. That's their email address. And so I don't want to take advantage of that. I want to be respectful of their space, and, thank them for being here, and let them know where I'll be, and invite them to come hang out.
Yeah, well, do you think Jazz Fest is a key moment for you to work on your personal branding and promote it?
It definitely is. Jazz Fest in particular is an international festival for fans as well. Not just the musical artists that are coming from different countries, but fans are coming from around the world to witness Jazz Fest every year. There are people that take pride in being here for all 8 days of the festival and going to concerts at night and going to the days between festivals and stuff like that. And so just trying to grasp their attention and again, make meaningful connections with them, because these are the people that wind up booking me for the other 11 months out of the year, not just May or April and May rather. So it's good to reach out to them and see them in the crowd and wave. And we used to do CD signings at Jazz Fest, but those days are past us now. So I usually just try and post up and be approachable and hand out my card. And
Well, how long have you been at Jazz Fest?
this will be, well, I guess we did it the first time in 2010. We've been rained out maybe 4 times. But we've been invited every year since 2010, so that's a point of pride.
Yeah, well, it'll be my first year coming this year, so I'm really excited to see you there.
Nice. It's always a fun set. We get to be up on the big stage. I get to have the big band, and that's great for marketing purposes as well. I can fit any stage solo to 10-piece, and Jazz Fest is a really good opportunity to showcase the breadth of what I can do up on a stage.
Yeah. When it comes to connecting with your new audiences, like during a large-scale event like Jazz Fest, what approaches or strategies do you use to make a lasting experience for them?
I like to give them maybe a little bit of something they've seen before, really remind them that I am from New Orleans, and what I do is true and authentic to New Orleans, but then, maybe branch out and give them something that they weren't really expecting and sort of secretly open their minds in that regard, and just make it a fun experience. I don't want it to be dull or boring or something that's easy for them to forget. I want them to have at least one moment where they said, "Oh man, that girl up there was really great. I want to look her up and give her a follow and tell people about her."
How does social media factor into your overall marketing strategy as an artist, particularly in terms of increasing your visibility, like at the Jazz Fest and just outside of Jazz Fest as well?
Yeah, there's a delicate balance, because I don't want my social media to show every single moment of everything that happens on stage, because then it loses its ephemeral quality. I want people to know that it's about to happen. I want them to have access to getting there if that's possible, whether it's buying a concert ticket or getting the live stream link or something like that. I want them to know how to see me. And then after the fact, if they missed it, I want them to be like, "Man, I'm bummed that I missed that tiny, that short little clip or those photos that you posted look like it was a fun time. I'll make a note to check it out next time."
Yeah, well, I'm very excited to see you at the Jazz Fest. Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm glad to have you.
Yeah,
when is the next performance? When are you having it?
We'll be at Jazz Fest actually twice this year, both days. Saturday, May 2nd, Gentilly stage, 11:20 a.m. You got to wake up if you want it. That's what I like to say. That'll be with a 10-piece band, and then we're going to do the acoustic trio in the Rhythmporium tent, 2:30.
All right, well, you hear that, guys. I will be up at 10 a.m. sharp to be there for her. All right. Well, thank you, Mia, for giving us a closer look at how performance, branding, and audience connection come together at the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival. If this conversation gave you a new perspective on how artists use platforms like Jazz Fest to grow their visibility and their brand, be sure to share this with someone interested in music, marketing, or New Orleans culture. In closing, we're going to speak with one of our New Orleans' most accomplished, celebrated, and beloved artists, Terrance Osborne.
So when we all think of New Orleans art, you think of bold color, deep soul, and unmistakable joy. And there are so very few artists that embody that spirit, like the one and only Terrance Osborne. His paintings have been a visual anthem for this city, capturing the rhythm, the resilience, and the radiance that make New Orleans unforgettable. Today, Terrance is with us today to talk about how Jazz Fest has shaped his career, inspired his creativity, how he loads in the actual technical part about it as well, and how it continues to connect him to the people who love his work year after year. Terrance, thank you so much for making time. I know you have to get over to Jazz Fest like tonight, so to load in. So we appreciate you being here.
Yeah, of course. It's my pleasure.
Thanks,
Olivia. Yeah.
You are so lauded. You know, your work has become part of the very visual identity of the city and Jazz Fest itself. We're just so honored to have you. What does it feel like when you step onto those grounds each and every year?
Yeah, it's always a magical experience for me, you know, and I don't believe it until I get there, right? You know, usually you can say that when everybody starts pouring in to Jazz Fest, you see how excited people are and all that. But for me, it starts when I get on the yard and you smell the cooks cooking and preparing, and you know the soda trucks and beer trucks are all loading in the ice, and you know, so everybody's running around trying to make sure the booths are you know, the artists are putting their booths up, and then you know, then it's like a big family because we get to reconnect each year. Right, so the people that are next to you or even across from you, you're like, hey, you know, sometimes you don't remember the name. You just spend every year with them, so you're like, hey.
You get the same location every year.
Yeah.
So you have the same neighbors every year.
Yes.
So it's like a reunion. It really
is. It
is.
is. It really is. Actually, right next to my mentor, Richard Thomas.
Okay.
So it's me, Richard Thomas, and B. Mike.
Okay.
And so we're in this area called the Bruce Bryce Art Village. It's only 3 of us. So it's definitely a special moment.
And where is that located?
It's right near the Fado Do stage.
Okay.
So as close to the entrance as you can get.
Okay. Very well.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Osborne, I feel the need to call you Mr. Osborne.
No.
Right? Yeah.
No, please call me Terrance. I'm good with that.
How has Jazz Fest influenced or amplified your career as an artist, both in terms of exposure and emotional connection to your audience?
Yeah. So exposure, I mean, any artist that does Jazz Festival is on the world stage. Jazz Festival is one of the largest international festivals in the world. If you get the poster is one of the most collected posters in the world, most collected festival posters in the world. So if you get the poster, it's a huge honor. So, you know, you're already on a world stage when you get there.
Right.
But then you do the poster too, it doubles that. So, I mean, if you're an artist who's relatively undiscovered, Jazz Fest, doing the Jazz Fest poster will skyrocket your career.
How many times have you done the poster?
6.
I figured.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't just like once or twice.
Yeah.
Very
Well, I've been fortunate, so I'm happy about that.
Very well. And how specifically does you having the poster, like tangibly, how does that affect your career? You have more social media followers? Do people actually buy more? I mean, tell us more specifically.
Yeah, so typically with my work, I might have a small addition when, like, say, every bunch of prints that I put out, I take a small portion of them and number them and sign them so that they're a little more exclusive. And then I leave the rest open, like I'll sign it or not sign it. Jazz Festival, when they do a poster, there are only a certain amount of numbers, and they do not exceed those numbers.
Okay.
So if you miss getting the Jazz Fest poster, you're out. They're not going to reproduce them again. So that makes them ultra exclusive, right? That's something that I hadn't done until I did the Jazz Fest poster.
Oh.
It just made a number and then stopped.
Okay.
You know, because I'm always like, oh, if people want to buy my work, I'm just keep reproducing it. But to have that exclusivity is a whole nother level.
Okay. You know, we call that in marketing Hunger Games or scarcity marketing.
Yes.
where it's done strategically, right?
Right,
It's like whether
yeah.
it's Air Jordans or Supreme, where it's only a limited supply that's produced to create that rapid
Yeah,
demand.
great demand and small supply.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's
that'll
what it's
do it.
all
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
So that's what you gained from working with them.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So what pieces or themes are you featuring at Jazz Fest this year?
So it started with this Louis piece, this piece called Louis the First,
Okay.
where I did it in a week, and I also realized that like I eliminated the background in the piece. It's just a simple gray background with Louis Armstrong on there, and his hat is like a shotgun house, and it's glowing, almost looks like a gas lantern, right? And he's got this beautiful smile, his beads are swinging. It's just this wonderful gesture. And the background is just simple, which is not typical of my work. Usually it's very busy and all. I have a handful of pieces that I've done since I got rejuvenated with the space that is coming, and I'm bringing them to Jazz Festival. So, and I kind of teased them on social media.
Okay.
But they're gorgeous pieces that I just really enjoyed working on them.
Many people see your work as storytelling through color and memory. What message or messages do you want viewers to take away when they experience your paintings at Jazz Fest?
Yeah, I used to be really big on stories, like letting the person who is experiencing my work, giving them their story, because like, oh, well, nothing's more important than the artist's story, because that's what the artist intended. But I realized that it doesn't matter what the artist intended, because the work is way bigger than the artist, because
Right.
people have all their interpretations of it, and I'm not trying to kill that. If whatever it means to them,
Right.
it does. So I'm not so interested in navigating them through unless they have questions about the work. I want to hear what they say.
Okay.
To me, that's much more valuable than what I have to say.
So you are a portal. You are a vessel. You kind of render yourself as a vessel and a portal versus it being all about Terrance's point of view in life. Thinking back, do you have a favorite Jazz Fest memory?
There are certain things that I look forward to. Like I enjoy when the sun is out and people are filling my booth and I'm talking, socializing, and my wife is taking the orders. She's sitting there and there are flowers next to her. There's the booth looks pleasant and inviting, and you smell the Jazz Fest foods in the air. People are they're drinking a little bit, so they're getting a little more loose. It's just the whole environment is. I love it. I love
The
it.
whole
You
experience.
can hear the music from the stage that you're near.
Yep.
What they're playing, and it's the whole environment is just beautiful.
Literally, what we define as festing.
Yeah.
Which
yeah,
is festing.
Right. Yes, festing. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Yeah, that's the best.
So, what guidance? I mean, it's clear you have accomplished beyond many artists their wildest dreams, right? So, do you have any guidance for any emerging artist who hope to one day be a part of Jazz Fest? Was there a particular process that you might have gone through, or not the person's name, but is there a process for getting recognized to be one of the very few that are invited to show their work there?
Yeah. So. I know the process is different. I mean, we've been at Jazz Festival since the late 90s.
Okay.
So a long time, and things have changed. But when we first got to Jazz Festival, the crowd, the application process was a lot simpler.
Okay.
But also, the thing that I didn't know was about the poster, right? So of course, if you're an artist and you go to Jazz Festival, the ultimate goal is to do the poster. It's sort of like if you're an artist, if you're a singer, and you go to Jazz Festival, the ultimate goal is to be on the stage.
Right. Okay. Okay.
So one thing that I didn't realize was Jazz Fest is already looking at you as a potential for the poster.
Okay.
They're going around and you don't know, and they're checking you out and considering you for the poster.
Well, Terrance, your art reminds us that Jazz Fest is not just a celebration of music, right? It's art as well, and it's a living story told through every color, every brushstroke, and emotion. I want to thank you so much for taking the time, especially that you're loading in like today.
Yeah.
Right? You and your beautiful wife, Stephanie. Shout out to Stephanie Osborne for giving us visuals that define the heartbeat of the city. We cannot wait to see your newest creations, and the fact there's an evolution of your style. I really can't wait to see that as well. We pray that you shine just as brilliantly as you do in everything else that you touch. Also, blessings to you at 1101 Huey P. Long.
Yes.
Okay, and the next year we'll be looking out for that as well. And we will see you soon. Thank you so much, Terrance.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Olivia. I appreciate it.